Don't put yourself in the position to have to quit before you even get the chance to get started. I've seen so many new travel nurses make the same mistake, and I want to stop that cycle right now. Stay tuned for my advice on the most important thing to do before you start travel nursing. I'm Emma Pointer from TTT Nursing, travel nurse, author, and coach. I'm always posting new content about travel nursing. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit subscribe. While you're there, make sure you click the bell to be notified when I post new content. Let's get started with an important question. How much money do you think you need to save before you start travel nursing? The answer is probably a lot more than you think. Get out your calculators, people. Let's dive right into this. I don't want you to go broke trying to get rich. Many people start travel nursing to improve their financial situation, which is a good idea. Travel nursing usually will improve your financial situation. The issue is many people don't realize that as a travel nurse, you have to have money to make money. Travel nursing can get really expensive really quick. So the first step, if you decide you want to start travel nursing, is to take a look at your finances. Get them in check. Make sure that you've saved at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses and you have access to that money, because you never know as a travel nurse when you might need it. Depending on your current financial situation, this could mean staying at your permanent staff job for longer. And that stability of your permanent staff job is something that you will want to have if you don't have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up. So I'm sure you're like, yeah, Emma, easy for you to say. But let's really talk about it. I'm gonna go through a couple reasons and a couple situations that I see happen way too often that I wanna stop from happening to you. Number one is travel nursing is not a stable job. At any point, for any reason, your contract can get canceled without notice. Many people are confused when they sign a contract. They think that it's an agreement between them and the hospital that they get to work for 3 months and they get paid X amount of money. What a lot of people don't realize is that the contract that you sign when you start travel nursing is exclusively between you and your travel agency. You don't have a contract with the hospital. They don't owe you anything. There's certain things that are in the hospital's contract that they have with the travel nursing agency, but usually this won't stop your contract from getting canceled if they decide they don't want you to work there anymore. And this could be for any reason, from the fact that they hired staff and they no longer need you, to the fact that they just don't like you. It is very common, unfortunately, for travelers to get their contracts canceled before the full 13 weeks are fulfilled. So this is something you have to plan for. Now, thankfully, travel nursing jobs usually aren't hard to come by, and you can quickly get a new job if your contract gets canceled. The issue with that is that by the time you find a new contract and get the first paycheck for that new contract, you could be looking at a couple weeks without pay. Also, if you've committed to living somewhere for your 13-week contract, you may have to cancel this lease agreement, and that may cost you some money. Number two, you no longer have the benefits of a full-time job. If you get sick, if you get hurt, your contract will get canceled. As a traveler, depending on your company, they are usually okay if you get sick for 1 day and you need to call off work. If it's any longer than a couple days, that's when your contract's gonna be in jeopardy. They hired you and they pay you a lot of money because they want you to be able to work. If you aren't working, they don't owe you anything. For example, if you break your leg, if you had a staff job, your staff job might be able to work with you and number one, get you some short-term or long-term disability depending on if you need it. Number two, they may also be able to have you sit in as a monitor tech or do something that's less physical for the couple months that you need to recover from your broken leg. As a traveler, they're gonna have no other option but to cancel your contract. If you can't work, they can't pay you. Hopefully you'll have some sort of short-term disability insurance that can cover you, but many travelers don't. So you need to be prepared for something like this, especially if you plan on skiing while you're on contract or doing other adventurous things like hiking. You never know what's gonna happen even if you're young and healthy. Number three, upfront costs as a traveler are expensive. So when I say upfront costs, I mean things like housing deposits. Along those lines, for a lot of housing, you're going to have to provide your landlord with a security deposit and a first month's rent before you get your first travel nursing paycheck. You need to be ready for that. Also, you're going to have licensing costs, gas and airfare to get to your contract, hotels along the way, and food along the way. At least a couple weeks off work without a paycheck from the time you quit your staff job, arrive at your contract, and get your first paycheck. And also when you arrive, you're gonna have the upfront costs of a big grocery trip to stock your fridge for the first time, and basic necessities that you may need when you move into your place, like cleaning supplies and toiletries. Even though you may eventually get reimbursed by your company for travel expenses and startup costs, as well as licensing, it's important that you have the money up front because you'll have to pay for it before you get reimbursed. Number 4 is canceled shifts. So the way that a lot of staffing works at a lot of hospitals is travelers are the first to get their shift canceled if the hospital is overstaffed for that shift. Hopefully in your contract it says that you get guaranteed pay. A side note is that guaranteed pay is different from guaranteed hours, so pay close attention to the wording in your contract. If little things like this are confusing you and you want to make sure you have everything you need in your contract, be sure to check out my ebook on Amazon, where I go through everything that you need in your contract and everything you need to know before you start travel nursing. I'll put a link in the description below. With that being said, guaranteed pay is not always an option with every hospital and every company. You should always ask for it, but you may not always get it. When your shift is canceled and you don't work, you don't get paid. Depending on company policy and the wording in your contract, you may also be docked some meal and housing stipends for the week if you don't work your full hours. In short, know your company's policies, know what it says in your contract, but don't be so tight on money that a short check is gonna break you. Number 5, you're gonna wanna have fun on your days off. When you're in a new city and when you're travel nursing, for the experience of traveling, there's gonna be a lot of things you wanna do and you don't want money to hold you back from those things. There are gonna be weekend trips you wanna take, new restaurants you wanna try, and new friends you wanna go get drinks with. You don't want to have to say no to important experiences like these because you don't have the money for it. Number 6, don't forget about duplicated expenses. You will most likely be maintaining a residence in your tax home and also one wherever your contract is. This can get costly, especially if either one of those areas has a high cost of living, and most definitely if both are in high cost of living areas. Account for this and expect to be paying double or triple in housing expenses of what you were paying before you started traveling. If the term duplicated expenses is new to you, I also cover this and other tax implications of travel nursing in my ebook. You can find the link in the description below. So that's it. The most important thing to do before you start travel nursing is get your finances in check. Have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up as a cushion. What topics regarding travel nursing are you still wanting to learn more about? Leave your questions in the comments below, and if we get enough good questions, maybe I'll throw together a question and answer video. Speaking of questions, join our exclusive TTT Nursing Facebook group where you can get free personalized coaching with me and you can interact with other aspiring travel nurses like yourself. I look forward to seeing you there.